And go to.
Hey, what's up? Hey, did you read Will? Good stuff. Anyway, you said you want to make comics, right? But you don't want to do all that other stuff like create a graphic for 7 days a week, every day, so you can post because you ain't got time, because you just want to make comics. I hear you. But you know what? I got the time. And this is what I do best. So why don't you let me help you do what you do best by doing what I do best, and let's meet in the middle. Let's go up into the studio and let's talk about it. Oh, wait. Before we go in, you want a single? Or you want a bundle? Oh, you're balling. All right, let's do this. All right, so here's how it works. I have a single graphic, I have a weekly bundle, and I have a monthly bundle. But you know what? Let's just show you.
Okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes. So here we go. This is how it works. You will send me transparent graphics of your characters, your logo, and you'll send me a copy of your book. Then you will tell me which bundle you want. Do you want a single image? Do you want a weekly bundle or a monthly bundle? Then what I do is I theme it out. If you get a monthly bundle, then every week you'll have a themed promo, right? So all you have to do is upload it. I will drop it in Dropbox. I will send you the 30 different images, and then all you do is wake up in the morning and go on your social media and just blast it up. You don't have to spend those hours trying to figure out your campaign. I got that for you. So let's get it going. What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Crazy tonight?
Tonight on the 8 o'clock hour, another Kickstarter special, we have Antonio's Christou, the The Book of Monsters is the Kickstarter campaign. I hope I said that all correct.
I think it's the Baize.
We'll find out.
It's either the Baize or George is driving me crazy. Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the Dreamer, Medina, and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the craze. There's a delay. I don't know if what's going on with my computer. But welcome to Catch the Craze Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George the Dreamer, Medina. What's happening, everybody? We are back. It's the 8 o'clock hour, and we are on another Kickstarter special. And we have a book called The Baize and the Book of Monsters. It's an anthology by a gentleman by the name of Anthony Christou. Now, I believe he's from Australia, so I don't even know what time it is right down there right now, but his campaign has about 11 days to go exactly, and it ends on Sunday, November 28th at 2:47 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
So we're going to have him on the show, but what's happening with you, Sam? What's happening?
What's happening? So we got to 5 backers, and the Baize. Here's the link for everybody. So we got the 5 backers. So we're going to spin that spinner. So basically, I got 15 days left of the Kickstarter campaign for Forbidden. If you haven't seen Forbidden, if you haven't pledged to Forbidden, give Forbidden a shot. This is the 3rd book. Hey, what's up, Pops? This is the 3rd book, and it's 32 pages in this issue. This is the biggest issue yet. Right, so and it's introducing a new artist. His name is Prime Santra. It's a story I wrote back in 2000, and I finished it in 2018. So it took me a minute to finish the project. The entire series is over 168 pages, and the book is complete. This is the third book in the series, and I'm hoping that you go to Kickstarter or Indiegogo and back Forbidden. We're trying to get to 100 backers. Currently, we need 20 backers on Kickstarter to break the first stretch goal. No, backer goal. And we need, I think, $125 to get to break the stretch goal. So there's really cool goals there. And then on Indiegogo, we are 20 backers away from the stretch goal, from the backer goal. And we are a little over $300 away from making goal on Indiegogo. So anyone listening on iHeart or Spotify and anyone watching on Twitch and YouTube, if you could take that moment that you were about to go downstairs and go to Starbucks and get yourself a Frappuccino, can you take that $5 and get yourself a digital copy of Issue 0 and start there? If everybody could just go and get digital, I'm good with that. You know, even if you just started with Issue 0 and make your mind after you read Issue 0.
Sam might as well have a little cup outside of the
toppins,
Starbucks.
Toppins.
Of the Starbucks like this. Come on, man.
I know. I say, yo, give this brother a chance. You know, the book is awesome. A great book. A great artist, great people worked on it. A lot of fantastic stuff. You know, you have variant covers, you have homage covers, you have a lot of good stuff, a lot of great art. So give it a chance. And so, without further ado, we'd like to spin that spinner.
Well, let me just let everybody know first. We haven't said this in a while, but for those who are watching, just came across the channel for the first time, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the comments. You know, write them in there. Let us know what you're thinking. Pops, thank you for showing up for part 2.
Pop Docs.
The 8 o'clock show. His name is on the spinner, on the wheel.
Pops is on the spinner.
The spinner. I have filled out all of the spots here. I'm about to give it one big spin. Winner gets, we didn't even tell them what they're getting. We're just going to spin it.
Winner, chicken dinner. So the winner gets a digital copy of ARG, A Wealthy Family, The Perfect Life, until the day a child was born into the world. A child she refused to acknowledge for fear of how the public would react. Hidden from the world with a dark secret lingering in the shadows. Only a few are aware of the impact this child will have on the world. The race begins to prevent the inevitable. This is a story about a child named Arg. And so the winner will get a digital copy of my prose, Arg. And it is the only people who've seen it are the people who actually bought it at ZoloCon, the physical copies, because I haven't officially launched this. So you're going to see my other writing chops in my prose with Arg for the winner. They gave me the green too. There you go. The green. So so we got 5 names. Let's do this, Brutus.
Names. You each have 2 chances to win.
You each have 2 wait, I gotta get that drum roll.
Here we go. Ready?
Spin that wheel! Oh, Pops! Wow!
Look at this.
Pops, you won! Isn't that something?
This is the second week in a row who the person who's watching
is the one who won.
Wins the spin.
Yes.
So if you watch, you win. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So Pops, congratulations.
And wait, hold on. I just want to say the 2 people who won both weeks in a row were both who pledged an Indiegogo. Yo, what's up with you, Kickstarter?
Indiegogo's got the winners.
Indiegogo's opened up a can of whoop ass.
So congratulations to Pops Van Sant for the win.
You'll be getting a digital version of ARG when the campaign ends. Everything will be going out to everybody. So again, we need 5 new backers to spin that wheel again. So who's going to be the next 5 names to go on George's spinner? Winner.
Spinner chicken dinner. Let's go. Let's get it. I love winning. Yes. So that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Congratulations, Pops. Thanks so much for the support. And thank you for being on. And, we didn't get to your comment on the last show to Monty, but we'll make sure he gets it about what you thought of his book. But yes, so we have Anthony Christou, I think.
So,
right?
yeah, he goes by Anthony or Antonius Christou. I think it's Christou. But he might say Christou.
Okay.
I think it's Christou. We don't know, but I think it's the
Well, that's
Beze, and I think that's what it is. Again, this is great. We get to figure out which one of us who wants to place your bets.
I say the Beze, you say the Beze.
I think the Beze. I'm thinking like New Orleans, like New Orleans.
Hey, Beze. So So we'll talk to him.
Oh, Arroyo's Capollos into his house.
What up, Anibal? Yeah,
Yes,
you
missed the
bro.
wheel. You missed the wheel.
You missed the spinner.
Yes.
But yeah, Pops won that, so that's awesome. Again, remember, 5 names and 5 pledges, 5 names.
Yes, we need
put 'em
5
on the
new backers
spinner.
at 15 or more. We made some
Go
exceptions for a couple of people for this campaign, but we need 5 new pledges. So get your name in there. You get to win a digital copy of ARG. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Forbidden, here's a little teaser promo. Who wouldn't want to have that graphic novel with that cover of Lord Vox illustrated by none other than the Arroyos Compollos himself? Who wouldn't want that cover? That's just beautifully rendered.
Let them know where you're going to be tomorrow, Sam. Aren't you on a show tomorrow, the 17th?
Am I?
Aren't you going to be promoting it on some show?
I gotta look at the road
tomorrow?
tour. I gotta figure out what am I on tomorrow?
Tomorrow's the 17th. I think you are on somebody's show tomorrow promoting the fact that Forbidden is out. But I will be on the Nerds of the Round at 9 o'clock tonight. Right after this show, guys, you'll get the triple dose of George, because I'll be on with the guys over at the Nerds of the Round right after this show. Big shout out to those guys. We're going to be talking about Celestials, Eternals, that movie. So check that out. And Sam, did you find that yet? No.
Negative.
Negativo. I will also be on another show tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. We're making the rounds. We are definitely making the rounds, especially promoting, Forbidden and making sure people know more about the story. But I will be on Indie Comics Relay tomorrow with Johnny C. and Kevin, creator of Mighty Mascots. So check me out on that show tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I will be there tomorrow. Sam is still looking to see what show it is. It's pre-recorded, right? You pre-recorded that one?
Huh?
Yeah, well, next week you will be. I believe you're going to be on Michael Gracia's show.
Is that what it is?
Next week on the 23rd, I believe.
Is that what it is? 23rd?
I believe so. I believe it's Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
I got a bunch of shows. It's been hard for me to keep up. I usually put alerts on my phone.
I feel you, dog. I feel you. But yeah, no, well, you find that. We are going to be talking to our guests in a few minutes. But in the meantime, please go to Kickstarter. Check out Blood and Bullets, which is Monty Michael Moore's book. We just had him on the last show. And then make sure that you find the Beze. I'm going to spell that for you guys. The Beze is
I thought it was Bay. I thought it was Beze.
Z as in zebra, E as in echo. Type that in and you're going to find Anthony Christou, I believe, his book, he will be on with us in a few minutes talking about it. And
No, the 19th I'm on Geek Exploration.
19th.
I don't have anything on the 17th.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so the 19th,
Stop
guys.
acting up.
The next, dude, you probably are on the 17th, but you don't know. I'll let you slide though. 19th, guys. 19th. He's saying 19th. I'm trying to help the brother out. He's acting up on me. You've seen that, right, guys? He's acting up. But yeah, make sure you check it out. If you guys want another run on the madness before it's over, just let me know. Hey, Pops is extending that invite, brother.
Yes, I'm also going to be on CromCon. Pops. Oh yeah, I think it's Saturday. I forgot the time because we moved the time like 4 times. But I know it's one of the times. I gotta look at the chat. But I'm on CromCon with Pops, so that's gonna be dope. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah,
you already were on Pop's show. So
I was on Comic Talk with Pops. Yes.
Yeah. Follow, subscribe to Comic Talk with Pops Van Zant on here on YouTube, and check out that interview. It was a very, very entertaining interview. You guys were going back and forth talking about your projects.
Yes.
So that was fun. So definitely check that out. Make sure you subscribe to that channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. The Nerds of the Round, who I will be on at 9 o'clock. Make sure you subscribe to those guys. But
and with that said,
man,
we got our guest in the waiting room.
Oh, let's do it.
And so before we bring him in, a word from our sponsor.
Do you have a Kickstarter campaign and you're trying to figure out how to get the word out? You look online and you see the competition is fierce. Comic-Cons are slowly coming back, but in the meantime, how do you spread the word? You worked for hours creating your campaign. You post on as many social media sites as possible, trying to get the word out to no avail. Well, look no further. Why not sponsor an episode of Catch the Craze Podcast, the fastest growing indie podcast in the market today? That 30-second promo can get you an extra 2 to 3 backers or more. Who knows? Let's go. Hit the link below and get one step closer to a successful campaign.
All right, we're bringing in our guest. Let's see what's going on. Welcome.
Hello, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes. What time is it over there?
100%.
It's only 11:45 in the morning. So,
Not
okay.
bad.
All right.
But it's, the day is Wednesday.
It's the future. It's the future where
Yes.
From the future, mate. Back to the future. Marty McFly, Doc, watch out.
you are. That's right. That's right. So welcome back, everybody. We are on with our guest today on Catch the Craze. Anthony, pronounce your name for me and pronounce the name of the book, because Sam and I have a little thing going as to how you pronounce both things. So go for it.
Yeah. So my name is Anthony Christou. Christou comes from the Greek. So Christou is like someone who's of Christ, because many Greeks are Christian, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And by Zay, you can say by Zay. You can say that. But if you were like to try and speak it in Chinese, my Chinese is not good, or my Japanese isn't brilliant. But I think it's like bai sa. There's a way that I've got a lot of Chinese friends. I've studied Kung Fu most of my life. I've learned a bit of Chinese, and it's the way you pronounce words. Like if you want to say, share is like thank you, I think, and like the way you phonetically pronounce things, it can be very taken the wrong way.
Right.
Gotcha.
So you say bai sa, that's kind of the closest way us non-Chinese people can say it, but it's bai sa, or if you want to say bai zay, that's how we've been pronouncing it. So, but it's very hard with Chinese translations to English. It's a very beautiful language, but it's very complex. You know what I mean? Pronunciations of words are like, get one thing wrong and you've got it wrong.
Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing. Well, your campaign is doing great. I mean, you definitely you're funded. Yep. You have 11 days to go, and you have 153 backers, which is amazing. So that is great. Congratulations. I'm happy that you've had the success you've had. This isn't your first campaign though, from what I'm seeing here.
I've been a Kickstarter veteran for a while. I've been doing Kickstarter. This is like my 12th or 13th Kickstarter now. Mm-hmm. Lucky 13. And but I've been doing it since Kickstarter since 2016, doing my comics. We've got card games that attach to the comics. We don't Kickstarters for art books, but it's basically my art or my comics that I've been publishing since 2015. So,
wow.
Yeah, 16 how about then.
So Anthony, tell me that it gets easier with every campaign. Please tell me that, because this is like our, I don't know, Sam's doing like his 5th. I'm like, does it get easier as you go along, or is it always hard?
No. I think it does get a bit easier in terms of if your audience is building up. Like my audience want the next issue, they want the next comic, they want to know what's happening with my stories. And the book before this, Tavern of Dreams, was the highest funded novel in Australia. So that blew me out of the wind. I was just like so impressed, happy that my fans did that. But I actually gave Kickstarter a break because over COVID, I did do an art book in March, and it was during the height of when they first started locking down and everyone had no money, and it was just in that uncertain period. I barely funded my book at $9,000. Normally I would have made, $20,000 on a book like that, on my art book. But I was lucky I did still fund even over a pandemic. So it shows the strength in my audience and obviously the quality of my art. So, I mean, one, it's good to have good quality art, but if you don't have an audience and people that appreciate it, and and I'm just so grateful that those people appreciate my art and my unique voice. So, But I took a break from Kickstarter and I didn't launch until April this year. So I didn't do anything over COVID. I could have done things. I actually was ill. I had an autoimmune disease, so I couldn't really work very well. I had this thing called Graves' disease and I was like shaking. I thought I had Alzheimer's. So I thought I was becoming McFly himself, you know.
You were? Yeah, that's scary, man.
But I'm cool now. I'm all healthy now. So, you know, just constant checkups, but I'm cool. But yeah, it gets easier. I mean, this book, the one in April did really well. This one, I think I accidentally hit 45 days instead of 30 days. It was just a big mess up. I hadn't said properly. So it should have been a 30-day campaign.
Oops.
Yeah, but in hindsight, I had to move into this beautiful house. I've got a house I've been waiting to move into. I couldn't move in over COVID, but I've been able to financially move in, and I used that 3-week slump period to just set up my house, pretty much, renovate it and move in. So in hindsight, maybe God was guiding, or whatever, the universe is guiding my hand to hit 45 days. And it's been a lesson learned. I'm not going to run 45 days again. No. Definitely not, you know. And maybe like 20 to 30 day campaigns. But this is the last big, long campaign. The most I ever do is 30 days. And, you know, it's been good because I've not only tapped into the comic book audience, I've also tapped into the Dungeons and Dragons audience.
Right, yeah.
And they do cross over. A lot of people that love Dungeons and Dragons also love narrative. They love storytelling, you know what I mean? So they're going to be more likely or more open to reading a comic than someone who just watches Game of Thrones. You know what I mean?
Well, so, I think part of that is, and I know a couple of guys who actually have Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. You know, Sebastian Bonet is one of them. He's one of the guys from the Nerds of the Round. And what happens in those games is there's a lot of character building. So the character building side of it is what's enticing when you're reading a comic book as well, because you have to have interesting characters. You know, so there's definitely a tie-in to it. But I wanted to switch gears a little bit and just talk about you a little bit. Let's talk about who you are, how you got into this whole crazy world of art, and who are you as a kid growing up? Did you grow up in Australia, or did you grow up in Greece and I think Cyprus? I believe is where you're from, right? Tell us a little bit about your childhood.
I actually was born in Australia, but I was raised by my grandparents who were born in Cyprus. They were immigrants from Australia. They came to Australia straight after World War II. So a lot of Greece and Cyprus were decimated, like by bombs or whatever. So they got a kind of a free in to Australia. And my parents were building a house, so I was in the process of. I was raised for 5 years speaking Greek, Cypriot. So we're from Cyprus, so we speak a dialect of Greek, which is. People my Greek friends like to pay me out and go, "Hey, it's Turkish," and I'm like, "No, it's actually ancient Greek," you know. So we speak what Homer and the Iliad spoke. So Homer was the guy who wrote all the books on mythology, pretty much. So we speak Cypriots speak that dialect, and I think Cretans speak that, and so do people from Rhodes. It's like an old. So, for instance, like Greeks, it's the word for and, A-N-D, in Greek would be ke. Cypriots would say chair with a C-H-E. And so it's just almost like a different dialect, a different language. But I've been in Australia my whole life, but my first language was Greek and Greek Cypriot. I couldn't speak English properly till I hit primary school. And so for me, it's been a lot of my white friends give me crap because I sound educated and I sound like I know English very well, but I still struggle with the grammar and the spelling, and it's not my strength. I have editors, I have people helping me proof stuff. I'm getting better at that stuff, but it's always been like, I always feel like I'm also almost a little bit dyslexic with the really high-end grammatical stuff. Right. But that's why comics has been my gateway, because it's like visual and kind of words. Right. So, I think that's the strength of comics, so, but the illustrated novel was a nightmare. I mean, I loved making it, but the editing was a nightmare. Like an editor proofed it, my mum proofed it, my friends, I had a few fans proofing it. The editor proofed it again, and we still found errors. And not until the last revision we got most of the errors out. It wasn't anything huge. It was just like little things like adding a comma here, adding a semicolon here, and
little typos.
Oh, yeah. So
minor little things. What got you into art though? Were you always drawing as a little kid, or was it comics that got you into it? How'd you get into drawing?
I think like I was probably good at art in primary school. Like I did a mural, and the teacher's like, "Oh, you got some skills there. You should maybe push it." But actually, I was into dancing, singing, acting, and music for years, and I really didn't get back into it till I was about probably 14. And high school, I won a scholarship in art. It was a very expensive school that I went to, but luckily I won a scholarship which paid for the tuition. Otherwise, my parents wouldn't have been able to afford to take me to that school.
Wow.
So, I got an art scholarship at Emmanuel College, and I was able to push my art skills. I went and studied at university. I was into, as a kid, I was like watching Star Wars, like everyone else, 80s kid, Star Wars. A big fan of like things like The Labyrinth and The Neverending Story. Dark Crystal, dark fantasy is probably a big influence. And obviously hearing I love mythology, not just from my culture, Greek, but obviously it's evident in this book, the Chinese mythology. But I grew up fascinated by other cultures and just other mythologies and stories. I mean, my grandfather would sit down and tell me about stories about St. George and the dragon. He was a devout Christian. He really believed that dragons were real in ancient times, and that St. George did kill some type of dragon, whether it was a Komodo dragon or something. Mm-hmm. So, that always kind of touched on my imagination, just hearing these stories from even Greek mythology. Like as a 10-year-old kid, we got to go back to Greece and Cyprus to see our family, and we stayed there for 6 months. And you're literally walking every part of the street you're walking in, there's history. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's amazing, man.
And I mean, my village where we're from, my auntie's house, everyone left apart from one auntie, and that my auntie's house, they found a king's residence, like his tomb, pretty much underneath his house.
Wow.
Some ancient Greek Cypriot king, and like they had these vases, Greek antiquities vases, where they would bath the king, or I think it was like his residence for his servants and him. Like it was a big, the actual house was huge, right. But we had the section where the servants lived, apparently. So we're either descendants of the servants or we're descendants of the king. I don't know. I probably think my luck is we are the servants. So.
Nice. That's incredible. I can see how that can fuel your imagination, right? When you grow up in such a rich, cultural, world. Like it's just, there's so many things. Greek mythology, we all take, as we write our stories, we're all taken from it. I mean, I remember reading the Iliad as, when I was in high school or whatever, and just being, just enamored with like the, Homer and, all of those stories. It's funny that you grow up with that, but you choose to write about the Chinese mythology. What kind of drove you into writing the book that you're writing, or creating, or working on the book that you're working on now?
To be fair, the first book is the first graphic novel, Luminous Ages graphic novel, has a lot of Greek influence. So it does have like a lot of, if you read the first graphic novel, this is the third book in the series that we've got now, but it starts off with Greek mythology, a bit of Persian and Egyptian. Second book is kind of Arthurian, King Arthur, with a touch of Greek mythology. And then this book has gone to Chinese mythology. I think I do speak a bit of Japanese and a little bit of Chinese. I grew up, practicing a bit of martial arts like Kung Fu to Judo, from Japanese martial arts to Chinese martial arts. And I've always been fascinated by those cultures. And I think I just really like the story of the Baizé. Sounds weird, but my star sign is I'm a Leo. I saw this weird creature called the Baizé. It's like a lion mixed with a goat. I'm thinking, I want to make a story about this. I read the whole story. I did a lot of research on it. And the Baizé really kind of drew me in. I'm like thinking, like it's got this all-seeing eye, you know what I mean? And a lot of Greek mythology has the evil eye, or eye of protection. And I wrote the Baizé as a god in my universe. So we have 13 gods. This is a 13 series book. It's kind of like my lifelong series work. So the Baizé is one of the gods. He's like the descendant of a dragon. In Chinese mythology, he is a descendant of a dragon. And so there are 13 gods, and they're all scared of the Baizé because he knows about their strengths and weaknesses. He knows about all 11,521 monsters in the known universe. Yeah, so he can really do some damage. And so he's being hunted down by the nightmare wizards and all the evil people. And, someone gets a hold of his book. So there's a book attached to him. It's called the Baizé 2. And that book of monsters is kind of linked to him, and whoever can control that book controls him. And obviously evil gets a hold of it. He then shifts into the Japanese Raiju, and he starts going on a rampage. And so our hero's trying to get that book back and help the Yellow Emperor Huangdi get it back. But it's not just Chinese mythology that I do write. I mean, it just happened that the third book was Chinese mythology. The next few comics will be focused a bit more on Japanese, on the Raijin, the Japanese water dragon. He's one of our gods. And we have another creator, Benjamin Slabak, who's writing a Slavic. He's written a story in this anthology about Pedin, who's like Pedin and Volos, who are Slavic gods. They're like Thor and Loki, kind of like that. The Slavic or Russian versions. And so we're going to be doing an offshoot comic with that. So we're going to be co-creating, I'm writing it with him, like what happens to Perrin and Volos when they do enter our world. So many portals open up from Earth and they enter into our planet and vice versa. Many of our dragons have influenced human culture and our history. So it's just imagine it's like the Marvel universe, but set in ancient times. Now there is a chance to go to urban fantasy with this as well, but it would be like, I think I want to say that magic is kind of dies off in Earth for 2,000 years. We won't say because of what religions, but we'll just say it dies off, and magic kind of comes back now at a pinnacle when climate change is really bad, the world is going to shit, and then magic comes back to save the day. So, but I won't go into that. That's another story. So for future podcasts. So yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the campaign. I know that you have a book, you have the RPG campaign, you have a comic book. So break it down. So is it 3 kind of projects in one, or how's the campaign set up?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's basically 3 in 1, but you can buy the one book, the hardcover, and you get the comic book anthology, the first 60 pages of comics, and the rest are. Sorry, I just shut the window here because there's a bit of noise going on in the background here, dogs and birds. Good old Australia, we've got animals everywhere. So, we've got 60 pages of comic anthology. You can just buy that comic on its own as a soft cover comic, and it has alternate covers. So you can get like one that's illustrated by Joel Mulvey and myself. So Joel Mulvey, he's a great American illustrator for comic covers and for interiors. He's actually done the cover, I've colored it. And then we've also got my cover as well. So you can buy the soft cover comic. We also have the hardcover edition, which is basically a comic with about 80 pages of RPG on top of that. So you can buy it. It's a 130 page plus book. And we also are doing miniatures and dice. So if people do play the game, the book, they can play with the figurines, and we've got all the 3D models and resin miniatures, about 50 that I did with a team of 2 other artists. My ex-artist, well, he's still not an artist of mine, Rob Richardson from Florida. He's done a lot of the 3D models with me, as well as a Polish artist, Dmitry Yukovsky. So us 3, we did about 60 models in about a month or 2, 6 weeks. It was intense. So, but we still got 11 days. It can still go crazy. I mean, I think the last 5 days are usually busier in Kickstarter. We just took a too long a slump. But it is what it is, and we run with it, so yeah. But does that explain what the project is a bit better, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So you basically, I mean, depending on what you're kind of, I guess, into, you can just get the graphic novel, the anthology, if that's what you're into, or you can go for the whole thing. I love the figurines and all that stuff. Like that many figurines, that's a lot of work, man. That's like so much work that you've put into this thing. Have you done this for every single campaign, or is it just specific for this one?
Just started on this one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just started. I did have the Helia Golden Dragon was released as a deluxe statue. I'm not sure I got it here. There might be one up here somewhere. It was here a second ago, but we used it last night in our Dungeon Dragons session. But it was a big Helia Golden Dragon, and we released her with a graphic novel. So we only released 100 of these deluxe models. And we pretty much sold out of we sold 80, and we only sold 20 at shows after that. We didn't make more than 100 of those. Okay. But that's the only 3D model that we've done like back in our graphic novel in 2018, that was only one, but I just really wanted to do it because I've been a big fan of D&D for years. I started to learn a bit of 3D modeling, 3D art over COVID. And I just thought, you know, it'd be good to offer that to my fans. We do go to PAX in Australia a lot, so we want to release a lot of miniatures there and more. We've got our comics, but we want to have a tape. We really, being a D&D fan, we really wanted to show off what we can do in the tabletop space as well. So, but I mean, the next kind of RPG stuff thing is not going to be as ambitious as this. I think it's just like too much work, you know. I think we did way too much for what we offered. I think in hindsight, a friend said, why don't you just break it up, do the comic first and then do the RPG next year? And I'm like, yeah, but I just want to do it all, you know. I have that problem, but the big lesson I've learned is don't do it all. And I think that's my advice to everyone is like, I think it does muddy the water a little bit. I mean, it's been good. This has been my best Kickstarter campaign yet. Right. So I can't say it's not bad, but I mean, we've already raised, we charge a shipping with backer kit later. Mm-hmm. So really we would have had another $7,000 by now just in shipping. Wow. You know what I mean? We would be at $22,000. Right. So we basically raised the same amount of money as the last hit novel did at the $20,000 book. So we've still got 11 days. If we get to 20, look, I'll be happy if we can get to over $25,000. Right. Ideally, I'd like about 28. I mean, we all want more money, but it just makes it more profitable and more sustainable. It's because obviously that having a profitable Kickstarter allows you to focus on finishing the book and making it amazing. I'm not saying it won't be amazing, but it will be, I suppose, a little bit more stressful if I'm having to take on more art commissions, take on more jobs, and then do this book. And I think we will get over the 25K mark. And I think it's just a matter of, you know, just being positive. And like I said, anything can happen in 11 days. And, you know, like having profit is really important, I think, in Kickstarters, because as you know, you guys who do your own books, you know, it costs a lot, you know, the time.
Oh yeah.
You know, the art, the writing, the editing, it's a full-time job. And people think, oh, you just do it on the side. You can do it on the side if you've got 4 people working for you, but if it's just you and maybe one or two other people, it's harder. But, you know, I know a lot of creators that do well, they have a full-time job and they do this as a side hustle. And there's nothing wrong with doing that, but they can be afforded luxuries. They can kind of go, well, I've got my income every month, so I'm going to use that money to just, you know, hire some other artists or hire another letterer. Whereas, you know, if you're doing it as an indie and it's your full-time job, it gets hard, you know, very hard. I mean, it's hard for everyone. I don't want to say it's not hard for everyone, but I think when you're doing it by yourself and it's your main income source, you know, it's a different beast, you know. So full-time job.
No, definitely. I'm looking at your campaign here, Anthony, and I like that you have like weekly bundles, and then you have something called I think one is ending on Friday, the Fundal Bundle, number 5. Can you tell us a little bit about what these things are, and how'd you come up with these ideas to do these bundles?
So I got the idea from another author, creator, a guy called Russell Nolte. He's like an American award-winning writer. Mm-hmm. And he does really well with Kickstarter as well. And I just kind of employed him on marketing and getting some advice. And so the Fundal Bundles or weekly bundles, what they are is you've got a certain time to back it. It gets people off the fence backing you. And what we've done is we offer 3 digital comics from other creators who I've partnered with, a couple of 2 or 3 STL files. So you back it that week. From that week onwards, you're going to get all the free content that we release. And I just upgraded it. Now we're giving away 5 NPCs. So that's non-player characters that people can use in their campaigns as a digital book bonus 5. But I'm going to make that book bigger every week. So next week it'll be an extra 10 NPCs, you know, thrown in, you know, if they start backing from Friday, maybe Friday this week till the end of the campaign, you know. So, and that's been good in terms of keeping the traction. And also it's good because although there's been a lot of people that come on board and they see it's going for so long, a lot of people do leave. That's the problem with running a long campaign. Yeah. But then a lot of people stay on board. I think our retention rate is really good. And I think it's because we've offered so much value, and I've offered these weekly bundles to keep people on board. You know, they're like, oh, well, I don't want to miss out on that weekly bundle because, if I leave the pledge now and I come back later, I'm going to miss out on this stuff, these cool, it's extra, 3D sculpting files or extra this and extra that. So,
yeah. You know what? I never even thought about the fact that people could drop off on a 45-day. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of time. That is a lot of time when you think about it. 45 days. I mean, we're going crazy on a 30-day campaign. Imagine a 45-day campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's
awesome,
quick.
man.
That is fantastic. You have a huge team that you're working with. So how do you break down the assignments and the work?
Well, I mean, the people that are contributing to the anthology, a lot of them are obviously are paid for their stories or their art, so that's I don't really have to worry about that as much. It's just okay. Well, I factor in, $500 or $700, whatever it is, to pay these people,
Right?
Or might be more. I don't know. The 3D artists been paying Dmitry Yakovsky. I paid him in full to do the art, the 3D modeling with me. Rob Richardson's been working with me for years, so he's paid monthly to do this, so I don't have to pay him up front. So I've had agreements with these people in place for years. So I've been lucky in that sense, doing this for years. I've had people trust me and they know I'm going to pay them, so regardless. And like my writer, I met through a Dungeons & Dragons groups in South Australia. He's a dungeon master for multiple groups, and he's just a really good creator, writer. He's very good with the technical side of Dungeons & Dragons that I'm like crap at. So, I just don't understand. Well, I do understand the stat blocks, but he's got a really good, he's been play testing all my monsters. So he's been taking all my creatures to every DM session and like, hey, we're going to throw this monster that my friends created into the mix. So Tim Forbes has been an amazing kind of contributor to the community. And so, we're keeping him on board to help write it. And then I've got an editor helping, another guy who's a dungeon master. So, and a lot of these people, like everyone's pretty much, hired on this on a freelance basis. But, obviously based on budget, the rest of the stuff I got to do myself. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's why having that extra margin helps to make it worthwhile, So, like for me, like if all of a sudden everyone just pulled out for some strange reason and I only raised 10 grand, I'd cancel the project. I couldn't, I wouldn't be able to do it even with 10K. Like it costs a lot to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As crazy as that sounds, and I just relaunch, relaunch and separate it, but I'm quite happy where it's going, and I think we'll be fine. Just got a back of them while we're talking, I think. So.
Oh, good.
So.
Excellent, man. Yeah. No, that's what it's about. So for those who are watching, we are currently interviewing Anthony Christou. Yes, he's got a campaign right now on Kickstarter. You guys need to check this out. If you are like a Dungeons and Dragons fan, if you like comics, I mean, you got everything in here. For those, it's an anthology, and you have 11 days to go. Pitch the campaign, pitch the project. If you were standing in an elevator with somebody and somebody said, hey man, what's this thing about? What would you tell them?
It's this book is like Avengers Infinity War meets Lord of the Rings with nearly every mythology of the world. And it's and it's with 13 dragon gods. So there are 13 dragon gods all fighting for control of dreams in the universe. They all have an artifact that's linked with them, a god artifact. Whoever can control 7 of the god artifacts controls 7 of the dragon gods, and they control dreams and reality. Game over, man. So that's pretty much it. So
that's awesome.
I mean, if you do like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, that's pretty good. That's a good reference point. But I don't want to just say it's like this, completely like this, because I really do feel we've got something unique, and the fan base are coming back every time to read more. So it's just, we just need time to grow it more in terms of going to more shows. Once COVID's over, I think our fan base will expand again. Yeah. It's been really hard marketing online, as you all know. Like it's not easy. So, because everyone's online over COVID, you know. And I mean, when I say everyone, I mean like even all the creators. So there's being divided, you know.
Yes.
But I think if you really like, you know, dark fantasy, if you like things that are a bit like, you know, Lord of the Rings, with, I suppose, diverse, different cultures in there, a different kind of perspective, I think you're going to like this. If you like a darkest kind of story, kind of like Greek mythology, with Greek mythology touches into it, and I suppose I'm touching on cultures that people aren't touching on a lot of. Like we've got, you know, Greek, Chinese, Japanese. We're doing a lot of Middle Eastern cultures, so Egyptian and Syrian monsters. So if you want to see something a bit different in fantasy, if you're sick of the good old trope of the white bearded wizard, and you want to see, you know, like if you're sick of Gandalfs and Merlins, and you want to have a different looking type of wizard, like more of a Persian looking wizard, or a, you know, an African American wizard, or whatever, an Egyptian wizard, we've got that, you know, and that's what our point of difference is, something that's totally different, you know, and yeah, it's. I think that pretty much sums it up. Unless you got a question or something else.
That's perfect, man. That's perfect.
That's it, yeah.
Just I just want to let everybody know that the campaign ends on Sunday, November 28th at 2:47 a.m. That's Eastern Standard Time here in the States. Thank you so much for talking to us from all the way in Australia, man. I always love this. Like when we have people from like all over the world, it's amazing. 11:40 something was like maybe like 12 o'clock now there, right?
Yeah,
so
past 12 now. So
yeah. So listen, go have some lunch. Thank you so much, Anthony, for being on the show. And listen, whenever you want to come back, let us know. You know, we'll book it. We'll talk a little more because I love, you know, I'm intrigued by your process, and I would love to be able to talk to you more about that. But this is about the campaign. So for those watching, make sure to Kickstarter. The link is in the chat. It's going to be in the show notes. So make sure you go there, click it, and back the project. You have 11 days to go. So good luck with it, man. Thank you so much.
And remember, the sooner you back it, the more weekly bundles you get. So
there you go.
There you
So
go.
it's important. So it's timely. It's a time thing here. So you want to make sure you back those things on a weekly basis. Let's do this. But thank you, Anthony, so much. Take care.
No worries, man. Thank you, guys.
You got it, buddy.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. So that was Anthony, and that was the By Zay. There you go. Yes, there you go. Yes, I mean, very, very complicated world building process. You know, I've always, you know, when I was a kid, the closest thing to Dungeons and Dragons I ever got into was the video game.
I know. I never got into it.
It was just seemed too complicated for me. Yes. My brain didn't. You know, I wasn't that bright. You know.
Seriously, bro.
You know what I mean?
That was too cool. I was like G.I. Joe. Pew pew. That's
it. I'm G.I. Joe swimming underwater. And then the big brown shark came.
Thundercats. Yeah. Oh, like you know what I mean? Just tell me the story. I'm not like. It was growing up. I was the same way, but like, you know, to those D&D fans, like this is right up your alley right here. If you guys are into D&D and stuff like that, this is right up your alley.
Like I had a friend named Raymond Moser. He was so into
it.
Yeah, so into it. You know, I just, you know, I've always been fascinated by like the nerds that are around that die hard into this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when they talk the lingo, I'm like, what are you saying? What are you saying? I was like, it's like Mandarin. You're talking Mandarin to me. What's going on? It's like really?
No, it's true, bro. Like it's a whole different language, man. It's a whole different language.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
It's fun. Yeah, no, it's that world building.
And it's funny because, you know, I've had people ask me, you know, are you planning on doing like a trading card game or world building with Forbidden? And I'm like, I'm not that bright.
If I understood how that worked,
yes,
you may get something
Look,
like that.
I can design badass trading cards, right? You know, but figuring out how to get them to work in a game setting, I need a consultant. Right. I need Bandai. You know, get over here. The guys who did Pokemon, get over here, figure this out. I was like, because I can't.
Oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen, we have another show tomorrow, two live shows tomorrow.
Two live shows tomorrow, and
between now and tomorrow, if you haven't yet, go pledge to Forbidden and get your name on my spinner. We had a winner today.
Winner chicken dinner, yes. Forbidden.
So we had a winner today. We need 5 names at least $15. So make sure you go on there, pledge. Your name will go on the wheel, and we'll spin it.
Yeah,
Mañana,
we actually
8 and 9, instead of
have
8.
14 days to go now. So the
14
days are
days.
going by fast. So 14 days to go. That's what it looks like. You know, we have a weekly raffle. That's what we did. So we have Spooky T2I or TI2. Spooky T, he won the first raffle, and Pops Van Zandt won on the second one. So it is real. It is a raffle, and it doesn't have to be every Tuesday and Wednesdays. If we get 5 between today and tomorrow, we're gonna have the raffle. If we get 10, we'll have 2 raffles. So again, you know, so to qualify, a minimum of 15. But there's a lot of cool stuff, and I just added several tiers onto the campaign. And as you can see right here, it says added incentive for every 10 backers of the graphic novel bundle. Those backers will each get a free sketch card. You pick any character, and I will draw it for you. And so, you know, I'm trying to push the graphic novel. It'll look great on your shelf. It was done by a fantastic artist, Anibal Arroyos Campollos. And we are $125 away from unlocking the first stretch goal.
Let's go.
I don't understand. And have you seen it? The Viejo sticker? It is on fire.
The Viejo
It's
sticker.
on fire. You
I
know,
love
it's
that name,
fuego,
Viejo.
right? And then the backer goal, we are 20 backers away from unlocking the first backer goal. So you have 2 ways to get some real cool swag and help a brother out. And then really just, if everyone's listening, wherever you're listening or watching this from, before you go to Starbucks or go to Dunkin' Donuts and get the glazed donut and coffee, can you head over here and put that $5 into this campaign and just get issue 0? Start there. Start with issue, not much, right? I know you back a lot of campaigns. You're like, oh, I'm done with all these indie campaigns. But give this brother a chance. I've been doing this for a hot minute. If not, I'm going to be out there with my own hot dog stand. I'm like, come on. And no one's going to want to buy it with me, you know, with this whole COVID stuff. I'm like, yo, where's your mask? You know, I was like, come on. I was like,
mask, dog.
Yes.
You're spitting my hot dog, dog.
Yes, I want some hot dogs. Hook a brother up. So let's get the book out there. With that said, another great show.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera,
I'm George the Dreamer Medina.
and we be out.
It's just easy kids. That's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the
You're Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.